What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Top Chilled Play. Isekai is the genre that took over anime. Ordinary person gets pulled into another world, usually with powers, usually with a harem, usually with a lot of leveling up. And honestly, when it is done right, there is nothing more entertaining. Today we are ranking the top 15 best Isekai anime on Crunchyroll right now. From comedy to psychological horror, from nation building to pure power fantasy, this list covers the full range of what the genre can do. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 15, we have The Rising of the Shield Hero, an isekai that starts with one of the darkest setups in the genre and builds something genuinely compelling out of it. Naofumi is summoned to another world as one of 4 legendary heroes. Within days, he is falsely accused of a crime, stripped of everything, and abandoned by the entire kingdom. He has to rebuild from zero with no allies and no trust. What makes Shield Hero work is the chip on Naofumi's shoulder. He is not the cheerful, overpowered protagonist. He is bitter, cautious, and has real reasons to be. Watching him slowly build a small group of people he can trust feels earned. The combat system built around his shield is more creative than it first appears, and the world has enough depth to keep you invested across multiple seasons. If you want an isekai with a protagonist who actually has something to be angry about, Shield Hero is your show. Number 14 is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. The title sounds ridiculous. The show is anything but. Satoru Mikami dies and is reincarnated as a slime in a fantasy world. What sounds like a joke premise quickly becomes one of the most satisfying power fantasy isekai ever made, because Rimuru, as he names himself, is genuinely smart about how he uses his abilities. The core of the show is nation building. Rimuru does not just want to be powerful, he wants to build a place where every species, human and monster alike, can live in peace. That goal gives the series real stakes and heart. 3 seasons in, the world has expanded enormously and the political complexity has grown with it. This is one of the best long-running isekai on Crunchyroll right now. Slime is proof that an absurd premise can carry a genuinely great story. Give it 3 episodes and you will be hooked. Number 13 is The Devil is a Part-Timer. And this one flips the entire isekai formula on its head in the best way possible. Satan is on the verge of conquering a fantasy world when a hero corners him and forces him to flee through a portal. He ends up in modern Tokyo with almost no magical power and has to get a job at a fast food restaurant to survive. The comedy writes itself. The demon lord who was about to enslave humanity is now sweating over getting a promotion at MG Ronald's. But the show commits to the bit completely and adds genuine character development on top of the laughs. Season 2 arrived years later and added more story. The first season alone is one of the funniest anime ever made in any genre. The Devil is a Part-Timer is the isekai for people who are tired of the typical isekai formula. Completely original and endlessly funny. Number 12 is Konosuba. And this is the funniest isekai ever made. It is not close. Kazuma dies in an embarrassing accident and is sent to a fantasy world by a goddess named Aqua. He gets to bring one thing with him. He chooses to bring Aqua herself, much to her horror. She is completely useless. His party grows to include an explosion-obsessed mage who only knows one spell and a crusader who is utterly incapable of hitting anything. They are the worst adventuring party in history, and every episode is a disaster. Konosuba works because it loves its characters even as it tortures them. The comedy never gets mean-spirited. It is warm, chaotic, and genuinely hilarious from start to finish. Season 3 is just as good as the first 2. Konosuba is the show you put on when you want to laugh out loud. No other isekai comes close to its comedy. Number 11 is Ari Fureta, an isekai that starts in pure darkness and turns into one of the most entertaining power fantasy rides on this list. Hajime is the weakest member of a class summoned to another world. He gets betrayed and left for dead at the bottom of a deadly dungeon. He survives by becoming something almost inhuman, evolving abilities nobody else has, and clawing his way back up from nothing. Arifureta leans hard into the power fantasy. Hajime becomes genuinely intimidating, and watching him dismantle every obstacle with brutal efficiency scratches an itch that few isekai manage to reach. The harem elements are there, but the action is the real draw. By Season 3, the world has opened up considerably and the stakes are appropriately enormous. Arifureta is for viewers who want their isekai protagonist to be a little scary. It delivers exactly that. Number 10 is Mushoku Tensei, and this is widely considered the gold standard of the modern isekai genre. A 3-4-year-old unemployed shut-in dies and is reincarnated as Rudius Greyrat in a detailed fantasy world. He retains all his memories and uses that adult awareness to take his second life seriously from the very beginning. The world building in Mushoku Tensei is extraordinary. The magic system, the geography, the history, the politics all feel like they existed before the story started. This is a fantasy world with real texture. The show does not shy away from difficult content. Rudius is a deeply flawed person trying to grow, and the series takes that growth seriously over a long, patient narrative arc. It is the most novelistic isekai in the genre. Mushoku Tensei set a new bar for isekai storytelling when it came out, and it has not been surpassed. Essential viewing. Number 9 is Re:Zero, the isekai that broke the formula and made the entire genre better for it. Subaru is summoned to another world and quickly discovers he has one ability. When he dies, he returns to a checkpoint in the past. It sounds useful, it is actually a curse. Re:Zero is a psychological horror show wearing isekai clothing. Subaru dies constantly, in terrible ways, and the trauma accumulates. He does not handle it well. Watching him break down and have to rebuild himself mentally is genuinely harrowing. The world is rich, the supporting cast is exceptional, and the emotional stakes are real because the show is willing to make you feel genuine dread. When things go right after everything went wrong, the relief is overwhelming. Re:Zero redefined what isekai could be. If you think the genre is shallow, this show will change your mind completely. Number 8 is No Game, No Life. One season, no continuation in sight. Still one of the most purely entertaining isekai ever animated. Sora and Shiro are genius sibling gamers who are summoned to a world where all conflict is resolved by games. Every war, every territorial dispute, every personal grudge settled at the table. No violence allowed. The siblings are essentially gods in this world. They are so smart, so creative, and so completely in sync that they have never lost a game in their lives. Watching them dismantle opponents with insane strategies is deeply satisfying. The visuals are an explosion of color and the comedy is sharp. The show ends on a cliffhanger that will never be resolved, which is genuinely painful, but the ride getting there is worth every minute. No Game No Life is pure, concentrated fun, one of the most rewatchable anime on this entire list. Number 7 is Overlord, the isekai where the protagonist is the villain, and it is incredible. Momonga is the last player logged into a dying MMORPG when the servers are supposed to shut down. They never do. He finds himself trapped in the game world as his character, a powerful undead sorcerer with all the NPCs of his guild suddenly alive and loyal to him. The twist that makes Overlord unique is the perspective. You follow Momonga as he slowly becomes Ainz Ul Gaon, a ruler building an empire through a combination of overwhelming power and calculated strategy. The heroes trying to stop him are the side characters. 4 seasons of world domination, political scheming, and spectacular magical combat. The show commits completely to its premise, and the result is one of the most distinctive isekai in the genre. Overlord is the answer to the question nobody asked. What if the final boss was the main character? The answer is extremely entertaining. Number 6 is The Eminence in Shadow, the funniest action isekai of the last 5 years and one of the most creative premises in the genre. Sid Kaganu is obsessed with being a shadowy background character, the hidden mastermind who pulls strings from the darkness. He gets reincarnated in another world and builds an organization called Shadow Garden to fight a secret evil cult. The joke is that he makes everything up as a roleplay, and everything he invents turns out to be completely real. The comedy comes from Sid's complete obliviousness to how seriously everyone around him takes his nonsense. He thinks he is playing pretend. His followers think he is an omniscient genius. Both are technically correct. The action is spectacular, the comedic timing is sharp, and Sid is one of the most original protagonists in recent isekai. Season 2 matched the first season in quality, which is rare. The Eminence in Shadow is the freshest isekai in years. If you have not watched it yet, you are missing out on something special. Number 5 is Made in Abyss. This show looks like a children's adventure. It absolutely is not. Riko lives in a town built around a massive chasm called the Abyss, filled with ancient relics and increasingly deadly creatures. When she discovers that her missing mother may be at the bottom, she descends with her robot companion Reg. Made in Abyss is beautiful and brutal in equal measure. The deeper they go, the more dangerous the abyss becomes, and the show does not protect its characters from the consequences. Some of what happens in this series is genuinely shocking. The world building is extraordinary. Every layer of the abyss feels distinct and alive, with its own rules and horrors. It is unlike anything else in the genre and one of the most ambitious anime of the last decade. Made in Abyss will charm you and then hurt you. It is worth every second of both. Number 4 is Sword Art Online, the isekai that started the modern wave of the genre and remains one of its most iconic entries. 10,000 players are trapped inside a virtual reality game where death in the game means death in real life. Kirito is a solo player who has to navigate a 100 floor dungeon while the body count rises and the outside world watches helplessly. The first arc is genuinely tense and emotionally engaging. Kirito and Asuna's relationship is one of the better romances in the genre. The stakes feel real because the show commits to them early. 4 seasons means a huge amount of content across different virtual worlds and storylines. SAO has its critics, but its influence on the entire isekai genre is undeniable. This is the show that made millions of people ask, what if you really got trapped in a game? Sword Art Online is essential isekai history. Start with the Aincrad arc and see why it captured the world's imagination. Number 3 is the slime movie Scarlet Bond. If you are already watching the series, this film is a spectacular standalone story that shows exactly what the franchise can do with a movie budget. Set between seasons of the TV series, Scarlet Bond follows Rimuru as he travels to a neighboring kingdom and gets caught up in a conflict involving a queen with a mysterious power and a political conspiracy threatening her rule. The animation quality jumps noticeably from the TV series. Every action sequence has more detail, more fluidity, and more scale. The film takes full advantage of its budget. The story works on its own even if you are new to the franchise, but fans of the series will get more out of the character moments and callbacks. A very satisfying theatrical entry for one of Crunchyroll's flagship isekai. Scarlet Bond is the slime movie done right. A proper cinematic expansion of a world that earns the bigger stage. Imagination. Number 2 is Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. The isekai that won Anime of the Year and reminded everyone what the genre is truly capable of. Frieren is an elf mage who helped defeat the Demon King alongside a party of heroes. The quest is over at the start of the story. The show is about what happens after, seen through the eyes of someone who lives for thousands of years and experiences time completely differently from humans. 50 years pass in the first episode. Her human companions age and die while she barely changes. Frieren begins to understand, too late for some, what it means to truly know someone and to grieve their absence. Frieren is quiet, contemplative, and devastating in the way only something slow and patient can be. The action sequences, when they arrive, are exceptional. But this show earns its place at the top of modern isekai through its emotional intelligence. Frieren is a masterpiece, the best isekai of its generation and one of the finest anime made in the last 5 years. And the #1 best isekai on Crunchyroll is Re:Zero. Everything we said earlier at number 9 applies here in full, but Re:Zero earns the top spot because of what it does across its entire run. Season 1 breaks Subaru down and forces him to confront who he really is. Season 2 rebuilds him through some of the most grueling and emotionally complex storytelling in the isekai genre. Season 3 continues to raise stakes in ways the first season could not have predicted. The supporting cast, particularly Rem, Beatrice, and Amelia, are among the most fully developed characters in any isekai. The world has genuine history and mystery that keeps unfolding the deeper you go. Re:Zero is not comfortable. It is not wish fulfillment. It is a story about what it actually costs to be the person a fantasy world needs you to be. And it is the best answer the isekai genre has ever given to that question. Re:Zero is the pinnacle of the isekai genre on Crunchyroll. Start from the beginning, trust the process, and let it take you somewhere you did not expect. And that is our top 15 best isekai anime on Crunchyroll. Which one are you starting tonight? Drop it in the comments below. If this list helped you find your next watch, hit the like button and subscribe to Top Chill Play for weekly anime rankings. I will see you in the next one.